Welcome guys to this fifth video of Angular 2 series for absolute beginners. And in this video we are going to create our first Angular component. So guys, as you can see, I am at the root of my folder structure, and in order to create your component using your ng client, you need to run this command ng generate component followed by the name that you want your component to have. So for now I will have the name header. So when you run this command, Angular client quickly creates a folder for you inside the app folder. So this header folder gets generated for the header component, and let's see what all files are in there. So we get these four files by default. I'll drag three of them. The fourth one is for testing purpose. Let's leave it for now. So you get one component file which basically says header works inside a paragraph tag. Component.css file basically is generated empty, and then this is your main component.typescript file. uh, and also guys, important thing to note here is using this command, uh, you automatically get this entry in this app.module.ts folder. So there is an entry for this header component, and then there is a declaration for header component as well. So in case you are generating or you are creating your file manually, this TypeScript file, if you are generating manually, then you need to make this entry here, because your Angular will not recognize that you have some header component unless and until you specify them into your app module. Okay, so let's quickly see what this header component contains. Header component contains this uh, component annotation. This is the tag name for our component app header. You can change or you can override any of these, but I'm not going to do that. So let's go with these only. The template URL is header component.html, which we saw this one, and then a CSS file, this one. Basically, guys, these style URLs contain the path for CSS file to be used in your component. This basically is a very clean approach of maintaining CSS, because this header.component.css file is only going to be implemented on this header.component.html. So as you can see guys, this is an array and you can give multiple paths for this CSS. So that will work. uh, Basically, let's have a quick look on this component file. As you see guys, the first thing inside this class header component is this constructor. This is a normal constructor as we have in any other programming language, and this method gets called whenever this header component class is first loaded. Similarly, we have this another method here, ng on init. This basically is here because this header component class implements this on init interface. So this is not a mandatory thing for a component to do. So your component need not always implement this on init interface, but this ng client generate component gives us this implementation by default. So if you want, you can remove this for now, or if you don't want it, let it be like that. Basically what it does is this ng on it is a lifecycle hook. So basically this function will be called whenever this class will be used by Angular anywhere. So basically the basic difference between constructor and ng on init is that constructor is not something specific to Angular. It's basically a part of the TypeScript class. That is, ng on init on the other side is an Angular lifecycle hook that will be called whenever this Angular class will first be loaded anywhere. So let's quickly create a public property here, or let's say create a private property. Private, let's call menu obj. So guys, whenever you create any property in TypeScript, you need to provide what is the type of that property. So if you are creating a number, you need to provide a number type or a string type, or in case you don't know the type beforehand, or you want just to have a dynamic type, you can give this any type. So by default, every property in TypeScript is created with this any type. With this any type, this becomes something similar to JavaScript variable, which are dynamic in nature and can take their data type on the runtime. So basically, I have created this property, and let's use this property. Let me create a few more property on this object. This dot home is equal to, let's say, home, and this dot menu obj dot comp. Let's name it component for now. Okay guys, and sorry, like this. Okay, and guys, for this header component HTML I have already typed some DOM that I'll be using. uh, Basically I want this component to be the header for my page, so I'll replace this with this thing, and then I have few CSS styles as well, so I will use them also. So basically now we have our header component ready. It has this component structure, then it has this component HTML, where basically if you can see I have a header with a navbar and then UL containing two components and home field. Right, so now guys, how do we get to see this on our screen? Because if you see, our screen still looks like this app is working great, which is basically coming from this app.component.ts. so if you see this app.component.ts, it is the root, it is the only component that we have in our body tag for now. So I'm going to keep it like this. Basically what I'm going to do is I will override this title with our app header component. App header, I'll save it. This app header basically guys is referring to this selector for our component. So whenever if we want to use our this component, we will just use its selector. So here we go. Okay, so if you can see now, our header is now embedded to our DOM. So you can see home and components here, and with this all black header. Basically just to make it more dynamic, I'll use this uh, object binding here. So instead of having things hard coded there, I would like them to come from my TypeScript file. So I will do this home right here, and sorry, this will be comp, and this will be okay. So this is great. Now if you see, everything still works. Let me change this and show it to you. Let's call it components. Let's put an extra s there, and so it should reflect here, right? Great. So guys, this is the way how we create our component. You can generate this file manually, you can create this file manually, and you can import these tags manually from Angular core library, but using Angular client makes life so easy. So we need to generate this for component.ts file. We need to make an entry into our app.module so that our module recognizes the component, and we need to declare this component as well here in the declaration. Next thing, we need to use the selector of a component at any place where you want. So guys, this is all for our component. So I hope you understood how a component can be created and used. So guys, like the video and subscribe for more. I will see you in the next one. Thank you guys.